Where does tweet at? Let's just get into, I mean, I don't know how good this news is. I don't know how bad this news is. All I know is that as I was streaming, Harada dropped an all-timer tweet about his apparent departure of the industry. And I personally think this probably has something to do with the passing of Itagaki. Him going to like Itagaki's funeral and a lot of the posting of that is probably very telling and probably changed a lot of what he feels just about things in general. I'm sure that's probably a big part of it. Long story short, I'm bummed that Harada could be departing the industry because he's one of the last like fighting game vets out there next to like Ed Boon. At the same time, if this is better for him as a person, then I'm happy. I'd always prefer the health and well-being of individuals over a video game. I think it's more of an opportunity of thanks of how much good they did in our industry in the time that they were here. Let's talk about it. So I'd like to share that I'll be leaving Bandai Namco at the end of 2025. With the Tekken series in its 30th, an important milestone for the project I devoted my life to, I felt this was the most fitting moment to bring one chapter to a close. My roots lie in the days when I supported small local tournaments in Japanese arcades and in small halls and community centers overseas. I still remember carrying arcade cabinets by myself, encouraging people to please play Tekken, and directly facing the players right in front of me. The conversations and atmosphere we shared in those places became the core of who I am as a developer and a game creator. Even the times change, those experiences have remained at the center of my identity. And even after the tournament scene grew much larger, many of you continued to treat me like an old friend, challenging me, inviting me out for drinks at bars. Those memories are deeply precious. In recent years, I experienced the loss of several close friends in my personal life. And in my professional life, I witnessed the retirement or passing of many senior colleagues who I deeply respect. These accumulated events made me reflect on the time I have left as a creator. Yeah, I figured as much. During that period, I sought advice from Ken Kutaragi, wow, who I respect as though he were another father, and received invaluable encouragement and guidance. His words quietly supported me in making this decision. Over the past 4 to 5 years, I've gradually handed over all my responsibilities, as well as the stories and world building I oversaw, to the team, bringing me to this present day. Looking back, I was fortunate to work on an extraordinary variety of projects, from VR, Summer Lesson, man, we played that, Pokken, the Soul Calibur series, and many others, both inside and outside of the company. Each project was full of new discoveries and learning, and every one of them became an irreplaceable experience. To everyone who has supported me, to communities around the world, and to all the colleagues who have walked alongside me for so many years, I offer my deepest gratitude. I'll share more about my next steps at a later date, but thank you very much for everything. And to add, although I'll be leaving the company at the end of 2025, damn, he's leaving in a few weeks, Bandai Namco has asked me to appear at the TWT Finals at the end of January 2026, so I expect to attend as a guest. Cool. For 30 years, I kept saying I'll do it someday, and never once performed as a DJ at a tournament event. So instead, I will be releasing for the first and last time a 60-minute Tekken DJ style non-stop mix, personally edited by myself together with this announcement. That's kind of crazy. Listening to it brings back many memories. Thank you again sincerely for all these years. Tekken, a 30-year journey. I want to listen to this so goddamn bad. December 8th, the final day of Tekken's 30th anniversary. You know what? I get it, chat. T8's going through a weird period. Here's where I have to give Harada a lot of credit as an executive, right? He's not a game designer. He's not out there making the games. He's enabling the games to be made and to have the money and ability to make them without corporate oversight all over the place, you know? Harada pretty much made the most expensive fighting game that has probably ever been made. Up there with NetherRealm games and stuff like that. The amount of budget and effort that Bandai Namco put into Tekken 8, especially as a launch game, to create that game with that size of a roster with all of those new elements all over the place, like Tekken 8 is the most feature-rich Tekken game that has ever been released, at least at launch, with the story mode that was actually mad fun, and like a ridiculous amount of modes, and finally making online not suck total ass in a Tekken game, dude. Like finally we can play a Tekken game online and I can enjoy it. And as somebody that has like had a lot of side conversations with Harada, like if there's one thing I really value is that Harada always gave me his time. Him and Mike Murray, these guys I've always had chats with at every single event, and they would like ask me questions, dude. They would like ask me about like several things about the franchise and other games and all this stuff and what's going on in the space and between like, because they knew I had like a very big broad audience. And a lot of that time I deeply valued. Ultimately speaking, like it led to games being made. It led to like cool things happening. It led to things like Soul Calibur 6 existing, like all of that kind of stuff, which made me very happy. And those games are good, man. Like they're very good. I felt like I was always connected to like Bandai Namco, just in general. So we're still waiting on that moment for T8 to sort of like come around, which it could happen. And Harada has already been planning this for the past 5 years, which is what he said. So all I gotta say is that like, I deeply appreciate Harada for his commitment to fighting games, man. Like we really don't have that many heroes and champions at that high of a level to be able to have the executive tenure to be able to invest this much into fighting games and have them even be successful, you know? Like Tekken 7 launched as a little ass arcade game, dude, and it didn't particularly look super great when it came out. By the time it came out on console, that was mad delayed because it was like, we want to make it a good game. So it took like 2 years for Tekken 7 to eventually show up on consoles, dude. So I appreciated that. They understood Tekken as a series and Harada as a developer is one of the few people that understands like the audience is broad. And actually getting people into a fighting game means you can't just have it be a goated esports game. No, dude, you have to have it be a video game, not just a tool to go online and beat ass. It has to be a game that is fun to play and enjoyable and feature rich. And you using your characters in the game in those ways needs to be fun and enjoyable. That's Tekken 8, man. And I have to give, in my defense of Tekken 8, I don't think it's in a great spot in this Season 2 situation, but you know what they did? They gave characters a ton of tools and shit. That sort of works in a detriment. It's hard to deal with. It's frustrating, but just imagine if Tekken 8 came out and every character had 15 moves. Just imagine if Tekken came out and they only had 15 to 20 moves because they wanted to make it easier to play for people, you know? Like that would not be, that's absolutely where a lot of fighting games could go. And they chose not to do that. They made every character as kitted and crazy as possible. So I think that's a lot more interesting than where we're at in total. As much as I hope things move in a direction that could be really fun for the series, I'm pretty happy that Tekken 8 is the Tekken game that I want to play. Like, I actually have a great time playing this game and echo the exact same frustrations that everybody else has, you know? So that being said, I appreciate Harada as a fighting game developer. He gets it, dude. He legit gets it. And he's out there trying all this experimental shit with Tekken Tag 2 and stuff like that. You know, all these weird things, trying to get people into it, trying to make it work from an executive level. All I gotta say is that I really appreciate Harada. You don't get many devs like this. I think we're very lucky. We've always had a champion of fighting games in Bandai Namco for the longest time. At this very specific moment in time, we have a couple of really amazing champions at Capcom as well, of people that just want to produce like high budget, high quality fighting games and have faith that they can perform well and do well, you know? Yeah, I'm bummed out. But at the same point, he deserves it, dude. Like, no one's been fighting that fight for as long as this, unless you're Ed Boon. Nobody's been doing this shit for that long.